Right guys, this is going to be a 1080 Master Nightfall solo on the Hunter for the Solstice of Heroes event, which on the magnificent set, the helmet, it states that you need to complete a Master Nightfall. You do not need to do this solo, you can do it in a team. You also do not need to equip the helmet. While doing it, you just have it in your inventory. For those that just want to see this run, then skip to time on the screen. The rest of you, I can quickly show you what I'm using and the mods and stuff like that. So the Nightfall Modifiers, I'm not going to go through them again because I went through them on the last video. It's the same run as the Warlock run. If you haven't seen that one in your Warlock main, then check the video before this one. But basically, the modifiers are the same. We have Togetherness on, so there's no health regen this week. So you need to make a build around not having health regen. So, like I said, we're on a Hunter, so I'll talk about weapons first. We use the exotic grain launcher Witherhoard, which is available from Season Pass Rank 1. Uriel's Gift, which is a world drop. Or you can find it from the Gunsmith hand tokens in Arc Auto Rifle. With Disruption Break on, which buffs kinetic weapons when you break a shield. And then we had a grenade launcher on Wendigo, which is a pinnacle weapon, which I'm aware of. The thing is with this, there's no difficulty. It's not like Mountaintop where you need to do some crazy things. It's just a fact of farming in PvE. Anyone can just go and farm grenade launcher kills. So that's why I'm using it. I feel as though it's okay to use. Plus, I wanted to show off how good it is in endgame. On my Warlock run, I used an arc machine gun. That's why I'm switching up for this video. So, if you don't have Wendigo, just use a arc machine gun or an arc grenade launcher, like a legendary one. So those are your options. You can use 21% Delirium, the Arc Moon machine gun, or the 7 Seraph machine gun, or like I said, any legendary arc grenade launcher with spike grenade on. The subclass that we've chose is Nightstalker, top tree, Vortex Grenade, and Marksman Dodge. No need for gamblers. We paired that with Wormhusk Crown, so every time we dodge we get health regen, which negates the Togetherness mod. So that's why we've got it on. Plus we're using max mobility so that we can get our health regen at least every 9 seconds. So it's sort of essential to put on for when Togetherness is on, especially on a Hunter. Other mods that we had on our armor was a lot of ammo mods. That's something I always invest in on my armor. A lot of people like to invest in recovery and all this stuff, and that's fine and all. Recovery is the best start in the game, but for me, I'm always about ammo. Solo play is all about ammo, so you always want to make sure you got scavenger perks on and reserve perks matching what weapons you're using. Arc, Void and Solar, if you aren't matching sort of your armor, you can't always, then just put your large arm reserves or whatever it might be. Say you're running Ariana's Vow, then double light arm reserves, stuff like that. Always pay your ammo. That's better than it's better than having max recovery. I actually done this Master Nightfall without Hive Barrier by accident. So basically I had all the Hive mods on, so Hive Armaments, Hive Invigoration and Hive Repercussion, but I forgot to put Hive Barrier on as I'd switched up my build, redone the build, and I'd forgot to take something off. I was meant to take off Recuperation, like that, and then put on Hive Barrier, but I actually didn't, so I actually just done it without Hive Barrier. But that just goes to show how strong Hunters, Nightstalkers are in endgame, just the survivability factor of it. But I highly recommend you putting Hive Barrier on, 100%. Those raid mods, you can get them also from Menagerie, the normal ones match made, and you can also get it from Heroic as well. If you don't have any Hive mods at all, you don't want to be attempting this solo, you want to be waiting for an easier week. It's not that the Nightfall's hard, it's that the Togetherness makes the Nightfall hard because there's not a lot of safety zones at the boss fight. But that's the basics of it all. On with the run. With this run it'll be the same with the Warlock, as I try to explain each room best as we can. This is a lot quicker than the Warlock run just because of some skips that you can do. It's a little quicker. Plus we've got Oppressive Darkness on this time. So with this starting room we're going to take these front set of ads, as we don't really want to be skipping these as they'll sort of attack us in the back, but we want to take out the night on this hill first, but we go invis so that when we fire our Witherhoard, he cannot sidestep out of the shot. Which I'll do that a lot to manipulate that. Whereas if I was to Witherhoard without invis, he's gonna sidestep out of it most likely. So this run's gonna be platinum again, just showing how to get platinum if you want to get it, but you could seriously just skip most of the rooms on a hunter. A lot of it can be skipped. If you just want to get the completion, you'll still get the helmet. But these are the places to take the champions from. I'm not going to take out all the ads in that room, just because there's no need to, but I'll take out the 2 champions at least. So this location, the Ogre can never push you too much as long as you keep going into cover from this position. So we can just keep using Witherhoard on him. I do kill a couple of the acolytes that stand around him because they fire their solar nade. But as you can see, unstoppable mod isn't really needed, not for this difficulty at least. Once he's weakish, and I know he's gonna die to the Witherhoard, I'll make my way to the next part. Okay, so with this bit with the Shielded Knights, I like to pre-Witherhoard, blind them so that they sort of get stuck in the Witherhoard shot, to then take most of them out. Now with this part, you want to take it slowish. I'm sort of waiting on my tether as well, so we're just going to take the odds out of what we can in front of us. Also done a nade to more heavy. The snipers are the annoying part. My Uriel's gift has a lot of range, but from there it will struggle to take them. So I come round here, and I can actually start working on some of the snipers. I think there's 3 at least. 2 red bars, 2 red bars, 1 orange bar. But we can even Witherhoard as well once we get a good shot on. Now. It's actually a good angle to take stuff from for this room. It's just nice to get the snipers down so that when you start doing your super and stuff, you're not getting sniped in mid-air and stuff like that. Plus we're waiting on our super anyways. Of course we have to play these rooms slow because of Togetherness on. Which is just a thing of how Nightfalls are now. I personally prefer the fast-paced Nightfalls, the old 100k, 200k Nightfalls. I prefer those because it promotes a different playstyle. I mean, these are good as well. These probably get you better as a player, but they're not as good to watch. So anyways, we've pushed up for the Curse for All. That we can do a tether and take them out. Because Martyr's on, they take a while to take down. So it's just a good time to do a tether, I suppose, just to get it used. There's not many times where it's essential to actually use your super. So I could have used special ammo finisher, but because of all the ammo perks I've got on, it's not needed. We'll get our ball done. Of course, we're going to use Wendigo to blind the Night Burst. So we blind him with Wendigo, then hit him with a Witherhoard shot, and then we can prime him down. Especially if we've threw an Oppressive Darkness nade as well. What I failed to do here is pick up auto rifle ammo, which I should have went to get, because actually that is important, as we're going to be needing that for all the barrier champs. But we end up getting, I knew I would end up getting some drops here, I guess. I'm going to do a couple of Witherhoard shots. The Cursed will just run through the Witherhoard if you don't stagger them in it. Run out of primary, so use Wendigo to blind the ads. Comes in really good for endgame content, just the fact that you can blind them to stop them firing at you. So it is really good with that. But however, if you're using it without the orb mechanic that it has, the explosive light, without explosive light it doesn't do a lot of damage, but that's not what we're using it for. We're using it to rip down shields, blind knights. Witherhoard does most of the work. But yeah, a general legendary grenade launcher with spike grenades will do more damage, total damage. It'll do more total damage than Wendigo. Wendigo's just for burst, and you need the explosive light on it, but it didn't matter for my run, for Nightfall play, I guess. But like I say, it's just really good for blinding, because there's that many knights to blind, and they're arc shielded, so if Togetherness wasn't on, I would be 100% going Arc Strider. That would be the best class to do for the Hunter, better than this. But with Togetherness being on, better for the invisibility and stuff. So we're going to bait out the Knights, do an invis to sort of make sure I'm max health before approaching the Knights. We're trying to bait the Knights over to this location here. It's just the safest place to take them from. Uriel's gift has enough range to take down their barriers from up there. Gonna do a Witherhoard shot on the ground just to see. The Knights end up walking into it occasionally, like so. We're baiting out the first champion. Once we take down my shield, because of Hive Repurpose, we get our nade. If we had used it, we get it back. And we can do Witherhoard shots. Plus we have Disruption Break on our Uriel, so you've got Disruption Break going on, you've got Oppressive Darkness going on, and just the damage over time. So the champions aren't hard in this run. It's not the same with the warlock. The champions aren't the problem. It's the boss fight itself. That's the toughest part of this run with Togetherness on. Now we're approaching 4 arc shielded knights, which will be an unstoppable ogre spawning as well, so got to be cautious of that. I've done a tether here just because we don't really need it coming up, so I wanted to take at least 2 of the knights. The other 2 end up backing up, end up going too far away. I'm going to do a couple of pre-Witherhoard shots on the unstoppable. Because of the damage over time, I can see where he's coming. He's just looping around to me, so we'll do an invis out of his way to come back to where we want to bait him, to the cliff area. When you're doing this without unstoppable, make sure you're only doing sort of 1 shot at a time. Don't do 2. If you're out of position, the ogre could come to stomp you or beam you down. I go invis as well, just for that extra protection in case he does come around that corner quicker than I expect. He's generally not too bad as long as you play it smart. This one. Using an Oppressive Darkness nade there as well, just to sort of speed this bit up. Try and get him at least finishable so we can move on. With the next room, or the room that we were just in, we're going to have another additional 2 anti-barrier champions. And the 2 arc shield knights will have pushed back at the back of the room, the ones that we didn't take out initially. Use Wendigo to blind them, and then do nades every time we break shields as well. Helps out to take the knights out pretty quick. Since one of the anti-barrier shields popped, I thought I would have a go at taking him out from here, but what happened is, I think he got to cover, and I was just sort of short on that nade, so it's best not to take him from here, because they can go to cover like that, and this knight enraged, of course he would, meaning that I couldn't get the shield break. So I'll show you where the location where you should be taking the anti-barriers from, the easiest place. That's a prime example of where, if you're out of position or you're trying to do something that you don't usually do, best not to stick to your plan, stick to what you always Like the same place where you take your champions from. This section right here is pretty good because they'll just beam into that wall and miss you, so fine. Especially the fact that there's no health regen, you need to pick your cover points smartly. Pick the next champion. One Oppressive Darkness nade and a Witherhoard will just about finish them off. Very close to. At this point, if you're low on ammo, be sure to kill these thrall. You can even tether them. I was full on ammo, so I'm just skipping them. No need to deal with them at all. With this room, I like to do it the opposite way, so I like to go invis and head to the exit. And deal with the Burma knife first before the anti-barrier. The idea is to clear out all the ads, the anti-barrier, all the ads, the arc shielded knight, everything like that, so that we can just quickly take out the knight with any nades flying at you or anything like that. We'll go invisible first so that we can hit our Witherhoard shot first time so we don't miss it. It just ensures that you can beat the AI of the enemy if you do that. If you try to Witherhoard without being invisible, the knight will see it and more than likely sidestep it unless the knight sort of dodges back in. But you want to hit the knight in the body rather than on the floor most of the time, because no matter where the knight goes, you're still going to take tick damage. It's very important you do not use Wendigo on the Shriekers, as that will blind them. So one Witherhoard shot will actually kill a Shrieker. Then we're going to go invis, and then we're going to go over to this location. There is a wizard over the left side which is going to rotate to where I am. So I want to take out both Shriekers first. And once we've done with that, we're going to use a tether here. Why not? Because we're going to end up getting it back anyways. And this knight here can be quite awkward, especially if the wizard pushes you from behind, which the wizard's just about there now. So it's a good way of just taking the knight out quickly on that right side. Now we're just waiting for our health regen and invis, and then we can rotate back around. The next priority is mainly acolytes, as when you're in cover, which is a lot in a Nightfall like this with Togetherness, they're going to fire a lot of nades. So you want to take out the acolytes before the knight, mainly. There's 3 orange bar acolytes in the middle where the Ogre stands. You want to take those out in the way that we're doing it. Yes, that's both knights down, so we've got 2 orbs on the floor. We're going to keep going until we get 4. And we usually place all orbs to this location here, as it's a good place for when we get to DBS for the Ogre. Now what we're going to do is work on the orange bar acolytes that I mentioned earlier. With a horde each one. Plus we've got Hive Invigoration on, which is kind of nice, so if we kill an orange bar we get our class ability back. Alternatively, I should have had Hive Barrier on instead, but like I said at the start of the video, I actually forgot to put it on. I was using Recuperation over Hive Barrier, which definitely don't want Hive Barrier on. But like I say, on the Hunter it's not too bad this run. It's the easiest class to do it on, for sure. So we've got one more acolyte to take down. Take him down quickly. We're going to throw one orb first. We're not going to want to throw the second orb. If you throw the second orb, you will spawn in the cliffside knights. You do not want that. You want to take all the knights from this location just because it's safer, quicker, and just easier to do. As the game will register that you need more balls or more relics to throw, because there's no knight alive but there's orbs on the floor. This was basically a fix that they'd done a long time ago, where if you would kill the knight and the ball, which Warcliffe Coil would do this, you're basically stuck and have to restart the Nightfall. So they've done that as a fix, and Coil still destroys the relics in this. But the thing is with Coil is it's very good for the boss, especially in team runs. We're going to get the last knight. He's finishable, which we can get our grenade off that because we've got Hive Repurposing on. It wasn't the fact that the knight had an arc shade, it was nothing to do with that. Any finisher kill you get with Hive Repurposing on a Hive enemy will give you your grenade fully back. So now we're getting ready for DPS. We have a tether, so we're going to utilise that. I'm going to start throwing all the relics. Because you've thrown so many in quick succession, the Ogre will be immune for a good 5 to 10 seconds. But before that, we're going to pre-Witherhoard, do a tether, and then just let Witherhoard do the work. I haven't got max heavy, so I'm not using much Wendigo. And that's basically the Ogre room. All the ads will despawn in time, 2 or 3 seconds after the Ogre's dead. Of course we don't need them for points, we're well over 100k. We don't need them for platinum rank, it's just champions. So that's basically that. We're going to be coming up to the boss room, which is the hardest part of the whole run. Even on a hunter it can still be, if you're caught out of position, especially because there's a modifier on that buffs the boss. So the boss can basically 2-shot you. If it's direct hits, it's like a 2-3 shot. It didn't help that I didn't have Hive Barrier on, of course, but even with Hive Barrier on you can get wrecked from the boss. With the 4 anti-barrier champions, you come up to this hill location. It just means that you can take down shields safely, or safe-ish, without being spammed. It's hard sometimes to keep track of the champion that you've been working on, just when there's 4 of them. The hardest champion out of them is getting the first. Once you get the first, it gets easier from there. A couple of other champions have spawned their shields, so we'll take advantage of it and break one. Witherhoard will do most of the break because we're getting disruption, break up our hero's gift. It's like an extra 50% damage or so. Always be cautious of your health as well. Anytime you're weakish, shoot a dodge and reset. That knight should burn out like so. As you can see, it's not too bad taking these champions as long as you stand in the correct location. If you were to do it from down below, it'd be a lot harder. You get spammed a lot more. Yeah. So now onto the actual boss himself. So rather than looking for ammo, you want to come to this location here. This stops the boss from spawning in additional acolytes and brawl, and he'll just start firing at you as long as you sort of stand where I am now. It just makes your DPS phases quicker. The boss won't phases around about 60% of his first pass, something like that, and he'll go immune. So with how this boss fight works is that it goes through phases of what the boss and what phase the boss is in. So right now he's idle and he's shielded. He's just standing there, he's not firing at you. So that's the first phase. After the first phase, and you've done a little more DPS, he'll go immune again. Then he'll be idle, shielded, but they'll actually be firing at you. But only where he stands from, he won't move around. And then on the final phase, when he's immune, he'll be shielded, he'll be firing at you, he'll be more aggressive, and he'll be able to come behind cover to attack you. That is the hardest phase. So we're blinding the Night, it's pretty safe here because the boss isn't a threat, so we can freely move around as long within reason. But you want to get used to this room and using the cover, all the rocks. Cover's probably better on the other side, the opposite side to where I am right now. But there is times when you need to rotate around the room to sort of help with aggro. So if you're getting aggroed a lot on your side, go in vase, rotate, spend a little bit of time over that side, and then keep doing it like that. What also will happen is when you take down the 2 knights, when you sort of throw in the balls, the game will spawn in another knight like it before, thinking that you need more knight kills. Right now it's not handy for us for that to happen though. It doesn't always happen, it depends on how quick you are. The quicker you are, less likely it is to happen. Just be aware that there might be another knight spawning. It could be on any side as well. We're going to get ourselves in position for DPS. We'll do a Witherhoard shot, Oppressive Darkness and a tether. Then we'll use Wendigo to blind the snipers and stuff. All the ads that are spawned in take shared damage from the tether, so we can get our DPS phase done quick and it's over. That way we don't have to sort of play around with the boss behind cover, trying to hit him with Witherhoard, whereas if we get him straight away, he's just sitting there to be DPS'd quickly. Now with this phase we're going to have solar shields, but solar shields are bugged in this Nightfall. We're going to spawn kill the first wizard on the right side, on this side. We're going to leave the wizard on the other side. Mainly because that will trigger the night spawn. We don't want to trigger the night spawn just yet. We want to let all the waves of the thrall come in. There's 2 different spawn and mechanics in this Nightfall, on this boss. The thrall are on their own spawn sort of thing. They'll just keep coming out and eventually they'll stop. Whereas the acolytes and all that stuff, they're on a timer. We don't get acolytes on this phase. But we will on the next phase though. Often the wizard will hide in cover, so we can use Witherhoard to bait the wizard out. I could have went in vase and hit him with 1 Witherhoard shot to the body, would kill him, but just took him from here. We got a knight on this side. Oh yeah, I think it's on the next phase actually that happened. Yeah, so the knights have spawned in like so. Oh yeah, we do, yeah. It ends up giving us an additional knight straight away, so it's just random that. We end up working this to our favour, as we can just take both knights from the safer side and we don't have to deal with range or the knight on that other side, which is good. Then again we'll do Witherhoard. We do when you go to the body of the boss and it actually blinds the 2 snipers, it's important that the 2 snipers are killed quickly, but it just shows you the radius of when he goes blind and nades. Actually, it's both of the snipers while hitting the boss at the same time. Of course the thrall as well, they're easily baited with Witherhoard, so whenever you Witherhoard to the ground, if you just run round in and out of that pool, the thrall will just come in to you and then die in the Witherhoard shot. Now we just need to do a little bit more damage to the boss, doing it behind cover. He's weakish for our last phase. This particular phase is where we're going to get the hardest, just because the boss is now something you've got to multitask with everything else. With the thrall, they push you out of cover, acolytes with the nades, and then the knights as well. But what I do here is come to this side and just keep Witherhoard left to right. I never stay on one side of the rock, I just keep rotating between the 2. That confuses the boss. If you don't do this, he will physically come around the rock and just melt you. Like I say, he can 2-3 shot even with high barrier. Like now that was Not the best, but I think he baited out a stomp. It was fine. Now we're rotating because we were getting aggroed there. Plus we have knights spawning in. Good time to do a tether right here. All the brawl will come into it, and we can get down one of the knights, which is good. Also, the boss isn't pushing us because he's tethered, which is really nice. Gives us time to take out any remaining ads and stuff like that. But we're not safe. You're never safe in this boss arena for like a long period of time. You always got to rotate. Plant the knight to take off the aggro so I can take out any remaining thralls, stuff like that. My goal here right now is making sure that the full room's clear so that when I do DPS, I'm not sort of getting hit with nades. Last thing we need to do really is take out this one knight. While doing this, I'm being aware, keeping an eye on my radar and stuff of where the boss is. He ended up just staying, but he generally does come round to actually get you, so you've got to be cautious of him. We're going invis for the balls, the relics, and take the relic on this side, and then we'll do DPS from the other side. The boss does spawn in an extra set of ads, but we end up sort of wanting to melt the boss down rather than having to deal with him. It's a good place as well to avoid the snipers that are spawned in at the top of the map. We'll do some Wendigo shots, Witherhoard, everything we've got to sort of finish the boss off. Like I said, it's good cover for the from the snipers and stuff. He didn't spawn in his knights, I'm guessing because of I was pressuring him with damage. Once you start running away from the boss, he'll then do his spawn. So the best way is just actually to pressure him with damage, and that way you can just melt him down. But anyways, that was the 1080 Master Nightfall solo on a hunter for the magnificent helmet. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.